What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to go over a few charts that I thought were interesting, and this is the one that I actually posted on Twitter a little bit ago. Ethereum, we're right up against resistance, and we're sitting here just under 1,400 bucks. It's kind of been this has been a tough area for ETH to kind of get past over the last several days, and we're just consolidating, and basically like the way I have this charted is I have an ascending channel. It's been pretty well respected. You can see there's been several moves, low to high, low to high, low to high. And now we're kind of just, some people are calling this an ascending triangle. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. But for now, the ascending channel seems to work best for me. It's what I'm going to continue to trade. But you can see again, we're here against the range value area high. So this is like a really tough area. This is usually an area where either you look to take profits if you're scalping or you're day trading. Possibly you could take a short. I'm not saying I would or I wouldn't, but this is kind of like the area where the risk reward is usually better for that type of trade. But again, if you look at the overall trend, I mean, trying to short something like if you're trying to short against this kind of a trend, it's not gonna do. It's not. I would argue that it's not gonna work out for you very well, more often than not. But again, as long as you're below value area high, there's no reason to think that like we can't get another return down to the bottom of the channel, or at least test the point of control, which is a really important support level for it. But you have, so again, value area high resistance locally. You have your weekly level at range, point of control here. These are really important supports. And then below that, when you have this green box, it's kind of an area that I would be very interested in, potentially looking at a swing long position, not financial advice again. But, we got another rotation down here to the bottom of the channel. You got your 12-hour Kijun here, which if you look here, so it's pretty good support area. Got your bottom of the channel. And you also, if I take a look, if I bring my pivots up, you got your monthly pivot that's sitting right here. Monthly pivot's around 1158, something like that. But I'm sorry, it's actually sitting right on top of this green box. So your monthly pivot is around 1170. So that would be a really decent area, I think, to look for a potential, at least a reaction here. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. So in the short term, obviously Ethereum is closer to breaking out than it is, to come back down to the bottom of this channel. Kind of like what would I look for as far as a potential breakout trade? I typically don't like to trade breakout trades myself, especially if you're trading Ethereum. You're trading the breakout trade for Ethereum. I'd argue it hasn't gone very well for most people if they tried that. I mean, for me, if you get a 4-hour close above 1436 or so, I think that you have a chance to run up at least to the top of the channel again, which I think is going to be around 1500, yeah, 1530, depending on where it is, 1600 bucks, something like that. But until you start actually breaking above the channel and getting the actual move, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't continue to stay in this channel until it breaks. So potential upside that I have, if Ethereum does take the next step and it pushes out, it gets above the channel, it looks like it's a legit breakout. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to I think the 1-to-1. Let me do a quick fib pull here. Maybe something like kind of how I would start. Where's that? Yeah, around 1700 bucks. So 1700 bucks. I would honestly look a little bit higher though. Like here's your 1618, 2200, something like that. That makes sense to me. Because I think like once Ethereum really starts breaking out, breaks its channels, really looks like it's taking the next leg, I think it can go pretty. I think it's gonna run. That's my opinion on that. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what we have. So that's Ethereum. Essentially, like until we break this value area high, can't get super bullish on it, but a rotation back down to the low of this channel would be a pretty nice opportunity in my opinion. So that's something that kind of what I'm looking at. The next thing, so I called this out in Discord. Actually, this is SRM. So I called this out. I think it was at about 210 or something like that. I said it looked interesting. I mean, basically you have your you have your bullish cross right here. You got your breakout. I mean, this looks pretty decent. This is kind of like something, and I actually, I mean, not that I'm gonna like talk too much about my entries, but I did go long, and kind of like where I would be looking towards is about this daily. I think this daily level around here is going to be pretty good resistance initially, but there's not a lot of price action on here, so it's a lot of these newer projects, they're it's kind of hard to do some meaningful technical analysis on it, I would argue. But as far as initial kind of resistance level, I would look at this daily here about 358, and then you have your R1 yearly pivot at $4 as your next resistance, and then go from there. But I mean, you can take a look at the rest of the space. A lot of things are just absolutely ripping right now, and there's not a lot of reason to think a project like SRM isn't gonna follow footsteps of everything else right now. That's kind of what I would be looking at. And if you're not in and you're looking to get in, not financial advice, but this yearly pivot at 205 looks pretty good. If we did manage to get some kind of pullback, had some market weakness over the next few days or whatnot, trailing a buy maybe on this Tenkin or Kijun, they're usually not terrible ideas to do. Go down to a 12-hour. Yeah, so you go down to the 12-hour here. I mean, it hasn't been perfect test by any means, but I mean, if you've been long in here, you're probably doing pretty well. So I wouldn't, that's something that I would consider. But SRM looks pretty good overall, and I think like it definitely, I like the nice rounded bottom here. I like the rounded bottom that it's putting in, and it definitely looks like it could have some real, some real decent upside on that. And then this is the FTT. This has just been insane. I just wanted to show this because I was talking about this in Discord for a little bit, and this is just on an absolute tear. And I just wanted to this is a really good example of ichimoku though, and kind of what you want to see when you have an asset like this that's trending super hard. And typically, like when you get your entry like really right around here, kind of when it's above cloud. You got your bullish TK cross here. You can see price kind of like dipped back into the bottom of the cloud, and then it really started moving. It really took off from there. And once you get your entry, you ride this all the way up. It looks pretty good, and then you look at the Kijun as your area of if you're looking to add or you're not in yet. Typically these are really good areas to compound your position. And you got a really good one here that's actually right on the R1 yearly pivot too. That's pretty neat. But you just look at something like this, and the trend is obviously up. It's a very powerful move, and this is just one of those that you let price do its thing, and you let the trend play out, and you get in where you can. Really, like if you follow ichimoku, like your stops haven't been hit here. I mean, maybe here if you were being kind of like, I would say, a little bit more aggressive, but I would say that your stop likely hasn't been hit. So this is continuing to do really well. And you see here, like you're already getting another move up. Looks pretty good to me. And the yearly pivots have done really well too. So you can look at the R1 pivot again, came back, tested as support. Initially, when you broke the R2, you came back, tested that as support, came back to R1, came back to R2, R3 is resistance, come back to R2 yearly pivot, and then you broke through the R3 yearly pivot and you back tested it, and now you're kind of taking off. So you can see like just the pivots alone have done pretty well. So going forward, if FTT continues to go up, I would assume that these pivots are not only targets, but I would expect them to be respected in the same way that the previous ones were. But anyway, just wanted to throw out a couple of charts that I thought looked really interesting. And I am doing a giveaway, by the way, for those of you who don't know. So this is my profile here. I'm doing a giveaway on Twitter, and basically, if you find this post on here, I'm giving away right here. So I'm giving away $100 in crypto. Just felt like doing it, and it's really simple. All you have to do is follow the page, retweet and like this post, and comment below Bitcoin. And I'm giving away. You can pick from you can pick $100 worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, Aave, SNX, etc. But I'm gonna be doing that drawing tomorrow, and gonna be posting it in there. But anyway, also we have a Discord. You see, it's honestly it's a lot of fun. We just basically spend the entire day talking crypto, BSing with each other. It's a really good community. It's kind of a small, close-knit community, but we all know each other pretty well, and we have a really good time. And we do a lot of technical analysis in there too, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to bounce ideas off of each other. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So hope you guys have a good night, good day, wherever you're at, and I'll see you in the next video.